Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, December 19, year of our Lord 2025. My Cordaro Jeweler's watch tells me it's 9:09 and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America, the greatest country ever. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and his great company, Basiliga Hospitality, like Michael Capax, Scranton, Jerry Albrecht, East Mountain section of Scranton, Jack Belaski, Leyda, Florida, but he was born in Scranton, John Morrison, Salisbury, Maryland, but he was from Bloomsburg, and then John J. Krakowski, Ashley, Bob Sourwine, Oklahoma City, but he was a Wilkes-Barrian, Richard Cordish, Factoryville, William Evans, Scranton, and Ralph Evans, Mifflinville. Veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today, thanks to John. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, incredible, irreplaceable founding fathers, that government shall not be, cannot be, will not be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation, not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. Freedom couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. Let them lie. We know better. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, uniquely in the history of mankind, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, with that essential preamble dealt with, we can gavel to order this meeting, today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that because of our commitment to common sense, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world where so many have gone mad. They truly have. Oh, Lord. Well, the local rag, as its headline, Biden banner sparks a stir. Oh, yes, it does, because it's wrong. He was not a veteran. He received his 5 deferments to, I guess, avoid the Vietnam War. And he should not be honored in a manner that befits veterans and veterans only. Now, I don't care if the confused leadership of the Greenridge Neighborhood Association, and they are deeply confused, I don't care if they put up a banner for Joe Biden. They should be ashamed of themselves for honoring him in the first place. But that aside, put any kind of banner up. So what? He was the president. If that's what you want to do, I don't see any big banner. There's a beautiful plaque on Woodlawn to our Governor Casey. But if I was going to put a banner up in Greenridge, that's who I would put it up for. The great Governor Robert Casey. this nonsense about a guy who lived there till he was 11. And he only used us for an image, for branding purposes. And he was too dumb to do it himself. The Obama people had to name him Scranton Joe. And then they said, oh boy, that clicks, that works. Scranton's got that, working class toughness image. Let's give it to Joe. Even though he was a sassy pantsed whatever his whole life. And here we are, still battling about this. And they just dumb. Incredibly dumb. Now we see if these Biden devotees, these Democrat Party devotees, have the guts to admit they were wrong. Biden banner sparks stir. Well, there's no confusion among veterans. Veterans say he's not a veteran. He can't have a veteran's hometown hero banner, period. You can put up anything you want and embarrass yourself. He's not a hometown hero. Likewise, Trump couldn't have one either. I couldn't have one. There's specific criteria. There's specific service that had to have been provided by the individual who is so honored. And Joe Biden doesn't meet the qualifications. Now, if you're dumb enough to think he was a good president, well, then you're just dumb. If you're dumb enough to think that it's an honor that he came from Scranton, well, you're just dumb. Somebody texting in, doesn't matter. He was elected commander-in-chief. He took the oath just like soldiers did to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Well, he didn't. He didn't even defend the borders. You want to get into it? What are you defending this fool for? What are you defending this stupid fool? It's a disgrace to this area that he's from here, that he used us for his brand, and that it worked. He got elected. This is the guy that can't even raise money for his library. We're going to have to give him the old bookmobile from Lackawanna County's library. When we're ready to get a new one, we'll give Joe Biden the bookmobile. And then they can drive around and embarrass us in limited fashion. Crazy stuff. This is the guy, and thank you to John for sending this in. A grand jury in Florida has found that Biden administration lost thousands of children that we found out had been dropped off at addresses belonging to strip clubs and empty parking lots next to shipping containers. Many were forced into labor. Many were forced into sex trafficking. When the Florida grand jury requested information from the Biden administration, they responded that the state failed to show how it was in the interest of the agency. Disgrace after disgrace after disgrace. Somebody said, I agree it's wrong, but good grief. Can you talk about other important topics? This is all you talk about. Well, tell me what to talk about. I'll talk about it. I'm free to talk about anything you would like. More than happy. But this is the headline of the newspaper this morning, the rag, shockingly in a way. You know, it's funny. Someone who did serve all of us honorably, Colonel Christopher Paris, same newspaper, same front page. The Commissioner of Pennsylvania State Police is going to retire next month, early January. Man, now there's somebody who made us proud. Scranton native, Dunmore resident, great family, all that. Somebody says that wingnut has the expressway, Spruce Street, and a small street near Marywood. The people of Greenridge should be ashamed, but they are not. Never have been and never will be. They are just wingnut lemmings. Well, you can't blame the people of Greenridge. It's a specific group, which the vast majority of people from Greenridge aren't part of. It's a specific small group that made this decision, pushed it through, paid for the banner, and are completely wrong. And we want them to do something about it. I don't care what kind of banner you put up for them. Embarrass yourself. Do not debase our veterans. And I don't care if he was a good president. If he wasn't the worst president in the history of the country, I would still feel the same. All right, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. Celtic Women, Silent Night 2022. And before that, just think of this, how hard fought the creation of this country was. George Washington leading an army of about 11,000 men to Valley Forge, PA to freeze and camp out for the winter. My word, 1777. It's amazing. It really, really is. The legacy that our founding fathers provided for this country, and we have just complete fools and jackasses trying to run it. It's embarrassing, particularly what's become of the Democrat Party. It's embarrassing. Gary D, he says he's surprised, as am I, that the local rag put the Biden banner story front and center today. It is unavoidable. So many people talking about it, and it's being such an embarrassment. By the way, somebody texted, oh, not somebody, Rich from West Piston, he goes, LTS, thank God for John, the homeless guy, for solving the Brown University murder case. If it was up to Mo, Larry, Curly, they'd still be looking for him today. I know. He would have killed himself, and they wouldn't have known where to find him. Nobody would have known. Somebody else, Bob LTS, people seem to forget that Scranton Joe sold the country down the drain as VP. Somebody else, you have all the answers. Why aren't you the president, Big Mouth? Well, the people have decided on me when I ran for office. They don't want me. I can handle that. I'm fine with it. I'd be a damn good president, I'll assure you of that. All right, let's go to Chris from Clark Summit. Chris, how are you? You're looking for the casino money.
Correct. Good morning, Bob. Hey, listen, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
The casino money, it's supposed to go for the taxes for the senior citizens,
Yep.
myself, and for you.
Yep.
They making billions of dollars off this, or hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's start giving, they could give Lackawanna County $32 million. That way no one's taxes get raised up. And then Wilkes-Barre Township or whatever just raised theirs 65% or something.
Staggering increases.
Yes. And no one's getting a break here. The working class is always getting kicked in the teeth. And every time someone's trying to get out of the hole, me and my wife always laugh. Every time we try to get out of the hole, there's someone there to knock you right back down the ladder.
And Chris, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to say, hey, how about the pot money? Let's legalize pot. There'll be money coming out of our ears, and it'll all be gone and wasted. That's what they do.
You're right. But
that's what they do.
I believe that. I think they should legalize marijuana, put a heavy tax on it. And you know what?
You'll never see the money. They'll blow it.
Exactly. But I work in construction, and you'd be surprised how many people are smoking dope all day long driving. Yeah. I said to a state trooper, how come you guys don't have a DUI checkpoint during the day? And he says, I don't know. I said, well, I think you should, because everybody's getting smoked up and driving. That's the same thing as a DWI. Yes. But, Bob, all kidding to the side, I think you need to have some congressmen on and find out where all this money's going. Please do that first of the year. I'm begging you.
Listen, we'll get the standard answer where it goes. We know it's not getting back to us. And by the way, most of the reps are Democrats. They won't come on with me.
I know that, but even ask Rob. Ask Rob.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, it is supposedly going where they claimed it was going to go, the casino money, and these are the highest tax casinos in the country too, by the way. So
correct.
They're actually limiting the people who own the casinos, their profitability, which would allow them to hire and invest while doing nothing for the taxpayers. Yeah, it's a trifecta. Yeah.
Correct. Well, Bob,
thanks,
I know
Chris.
You're at the end of the hour. You have to go, but have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.
Appreciate it, man. Merry Christmas to you. True and sad. Hey, by the way, my brother Mike reminds me of this. Every Friday we read a poem called Tomorrow Never Comes. And that's how we try to finish the show most Fridays. We'll hopefully finish it with that today. And I found it in the obituary of Doreen Gorieb. Now, she passed away a few years ago, and Sunday would have been her birthday. So Brother Mike reminded me of it, and I said, I'm very happy to mention that because she inspired really one of the greatest things in the show, reading of that poem so that we don't let time go by. And I just had a friend die. I may be off part of Monday or maybe even all of Monday for the funeral. But my friend John Bamford passed, and I didn't get a chance to go see him before he passed away. And that poem means so much. Just grasp whatever you can today, because the people you care about, the people you love, the people you once loved, you may never see them again. Just remember that. So happy birthday in heaven, Doreen Gorieb. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, great sponsors, then our Veterans Tribute, the weather, and more. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our friend John Basiliga. Today we highlight Basiliga Hospitality, because it's the weekend. And there's no better place to celebrate it than at one of these amazing places. Like the Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Far Street Tavern and the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. A reimagined neighborhood bar. And downtown Oliphant features the Queen City Tavern. Just your jaw's going to drop when you walk in, how beautiful it is. And then we get to fine dining. Yeah, the best. A Terra 519. That's my hangout. It really is. Great bar, great food, great atmosphere, great people. A Terra 519. The class of restaurants in Northeast PA. And then you go to downtown Wilkes-Barre, my other favorite, the Stegmeyer Mansion. Fine dining in an old world setting that you just can't duplicate. Nightlife, yeah, we got that too. Sergei's Live, the nightclub in Northeast Pennsylvania. Want to check out a movie this weekend? No place better than the Scranton Art House, Lackawanna Avenue, downtown Scranton. Michael Capax. He passed away December 4th. His wife of 48 years, Mary Jewel Luby Capax, by his side. Born in Scranton, member of St. Paul's Church and a graduate of the great Scranton Technical High School. Michael Capax served us in Vietnam in the Air Force, and later he was in the Army Reserves. Past commander of VFW Post 5209. Prior to retirement, he was employed by Tobyhanna Army Depot. Michael was devoted to his family. He was most happy surrounded by loved ones and forever cracking a joke. You know you were loved if you got an awful nickname. He's survived by 2 daughters, a sister, grandchildren, and other family members. Michael Capax. Jerry Albrecht. I knew Jerry. He was 90 years old, from the East Mountain section of Scranton. He passed away December 7th. He was preceded in death by his wife, the former Patricia Sabitis, in 2013. Born in Scranton, he was a graduate of St. Mary's High School and was a member of the Immaculate Conception Church. Jerry served in the U.S. Navy from 55 to 58 as a petty officer 3rd class at the Willow Grove Naval Station. He was then employed by Jaunty Fabrics, just like our man Murph, as a loom fixer, and retired in 1998 as department manager of the Weave Shed. Yeah, he made things. After his retirement, he was employed as the maintenance man for Holy Name of Jesus Church for 2 years. Very active in the Holy Name of Jesus Church, serving as Eucharistic minister for over 10 years, and a major participant in the annual roast beef and spaghetti dinners. Since 1970, Jerry was a member of St. Mary's Parish Club, surviving his daughter, grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, and many other family members. Jerry Albrecht, our great veterans, brought to you this hour by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast. Man, it was pouring this morning. I couldn't believe it. For meteorologist Joe Snedeker, he says cloudy with morning rain. I'd call it morning downpours, changing over to afternoon snowflakes as temperature drops throughout the day. Morning high 52, then temps drop into the 30s by late afternoon. Tonight, clouds with lingering flurries, low 28. Saturday, partly sunny, 37. And Sunday, partly sunny, 37 again. Kenny Rogers, Mary, did you know, 1996. That was a listener suggestion, and we loved it. Man. By the way, Murph texts in. He says he remembered Jerry Albrecht. He worked with him at Johnny Fabric. And I love when people get in touch with me to tell me, yeah, I remember that guy, because that's what this is about. By the way, my friend the Viking, he sent me in something that it really just went straight to my heart. It said that upon the passing of his sister, Benjamin Franklin said, "As our circle gets smaller, we must love each other proportionately more." Wow. As our circle gets smaller, we must love each other proportionally more. Thank you, Viking. That's great stuff. And speaking of expressions of love, you can't find any better than at Bacardo's. And our man Alex Bacardo's with us here this morning. My friend, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
You sound like you've got energy galore, and you've been working like a dog since Thanksgiving.
We're still going here.
I love it. Well, you got a big weekend coming up, and a lot of people say, hey, I got to get something last minute. I got to get this done.
Yeah, people don't realize Christmas is early this year. We only have 5 days left, so whatever you guys need, come in. It's coming faster than we thought, and it'll be here before we know it.
Honest.
I'm open 7 days a week. I'll be here Sunday also, 12 to 5.
Wow. Hey, and that's important because, I don't know, sometimes I get off this show and I've been in a lather for 3 hours and I'm exhausted and I just don't want to shop. So that's important to know you're open all weekend.
Yes, that's why we're open on Sundays. A lot of people work all the time. You get up, you have a nice family day, come in, and get yourself in the spirit. We're almost here. Christmas is coming up, and we're here for you. Whatever you need, we can do.
I was telling the people, I said I'd been there a time before also, but also went to the trunk sale. I said, Bacardo's got me in the Christmas spirit. It's just so bright and beautiful. And I got to say this. I was looking at the diamonds. Do you guys have special lights or something? They were sparkling like I couldn't believe how gorgeous the diamonds were.
We carry top of the line. We pride ourselves by that. We have amazing programs if you do buy our natural diamonds from us. We do trade-ups for life. We stand out from other people because of that.
Yeah.
So if you come in here and shop, I could explain everything, and we really give you good incentive, what to buy, what you can do down the line, and it helps everybody out.
Yeah. I just think it's amazing that just so much. It's a good-sized store, but there's every which way you turn, there's something else that's just gorgeous.
Absolutely.
And Cutie came in, and I was telling people, a lot of people think it's only for high end, and I said no, because Cutie went in, she found an item for $60 that was absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely. I carry, like I said, something for everyone of all ages, of any price point. Just stop in, ask for me, and I'll take care of you.
Well, listen.
Well, we got 5 days left.
Yeah.
So whatever you guys need, come in. Don't wait.
I could tell you don't work too hard, but I know you will.
I'm trying.
All right, my friend. Have a great weekend. And
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Keep
Stop
that
in.
energy up. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
All right, my friend. Alex
Bye.
Bacardo. Bacardo Jewelers. I'm telling you, the place it's fantastic. I can't get enough of the place. I really can't. I even go in sometimes when I'm not buying anything. I like it that much, and I love the Bacardo family that much. Amazing. Plus, I saw Alex. I go for my grandkids' little recital, and his child is at the same recital, so we get to see him even outside of the store. Hey, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Couple callers I want to get to, and more. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll be back. That's Cat Matthews. Snow on a Christmas Morning, local artist. He's far beyond musician. His artwork is fantastic. I mean, he's a multimedia threat. He really is great. Cat Matthews. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. And somebody said, I mentioned it to Bulldog, I'll be here Christmas Eve, but I may not be here Monday because of the passing of my friend John Bamford and his funerals on Monday. But CeeLo Green did the best rendition of Mary Did You Know? So Bulldog, let's just make sure we play it on Wednesday. Could you write it down and remind yourself? And if Murph's listening, he'll know that we want to try CeeLo Green's version. Thank you for that. Mother Teresa for December 19th, St. Teresa. She said, if we have no peace, it's because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. Simple, blunt truth from Mother Teresa, as always. Let's go to Donald from Pittston. Donald, how are you?
Okay, thank you. Oh, Bob, I saw the tribute. I had to rewind it because I hit with a scam caller, and I turned the radio down, and that's when you said the tribute about my mom.
Yeah.
That was so nice of you to do that.
Well,
thank you so much.
We're sorry
I
for
went
your
back
family.
and got it. But we get killed those scam callers, like User said. It's terrible. Scam, like, it's insanity. Hundreds of them.
Well, they know you have a ton of money, Donald, and they're after it. They want some.
Yeah. Charities. Okay, this is what you do. Bo Biden is a real veteran. Put a sign up, Bo Biden, solve the problem. Proud father, Commander-in-Chief Joe Biden, 46th President of the United States, born in Scranton, PA. Simple solution. Bo's a real veteran, not him.
Yep,
the guy, he was a stellar veteran with brain cancer.
A bunch of people
That's
had suggested that. And look, if you want to be like ultra-Democrat, do that. But get the hometown hero banner down. Well, also, I don't care if they put up a banner for Joe Biden, lived here, grew up here, whatever.
President.
I mean, he's a disgrace, but hey, if they don't know any better, they don't know any better. What are you going to do?
It's just like I did these ads for John Hines, right? I still have them. For the legislation he did, and they named the Pittsburgh Medical Center after him, the Veterans Affair down there. I honored him. You don't honor yourself. I mean, honored for the legislation, even though you're a veteran, that he'll help veterans. How he did. I saw how he did it.
Yeah.
And helped them with get no arms and legs, get their benefits and stuff, the wounded warriors and stuff. That's how you honor. You honor the person that does it. Like he passed the legislation. I didn't. Just like Bo Biden. He's the real veteran of the family. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just put him up there and say, like I said, the president was a proud he's a proud father of, his son.
Well,
Bo Biden. The
problem there is that he wasn't. The son wasn't from here. And
but even he'd still be better than Bo Biden.
But it's hometown heroes. But it's hometown heroes.
But that's why I said the proud father, Commander-in-Chief Joe Biden, 46th President of the United States, born in Scranton. You guys wanted to put Bo up there, but to put. I have nothing against the president, but I thought that was just exclusive for veterans, even though he was Commander-in-Chief.
That's what it's supposed to be. Yep.
I'm just going. I'm just reading the law. That's all I'm saying. The way they did it.
You got it, man.
What do you think? You think right?
Well, no, I don't want Bo Biden up there either because he's not from here. But and I don't care.
I just figured it'd be a nice alternative because even his dad, he was a veteran and his dad was born here. Maybe if you wanted to do that, put a veteran up there.
If you take all the people from Northeast Pennsylvania who their kids were born or lived elsewhere, you wouldn't have enough polls. There wouldn't be enough polls to put them on.
I think Biden would be better served if they want to do that. Like you said, scrappy kids he got there. 46th President of the United States. We want to, because he's from the Greenridge section of Scranton. I think he'd be better served with a banner just honoring him and not throwing them in with the hometown hero banner.
Just have his own banner.
I agree with you there.
If you're not embarrassed by him, you don't know any better. Go ahead, Greenridge Neighborhood Association. But yeah,
they want to honor him because they like him. I'm sure everybody has friends and they're friends with him. And they agree with his philosophy and principles or whatever, they can put that up. I have really no objections because if you want to honor, if you're a friend, you honor your friend. But I don't know how it got mixed up with the veterans. That's all I'm saying.
Well, maybe you could have a gender-affirming and pro-abortion banner for him. Let's do that.
It's sad the way he went left.
I know it.
He's a totally different human being.
Yeah.
The dementia did it. It's so sad.
All right,
All
man.
right, thank you,
Donald,
Robert.
always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend.
You-
And my Ricardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:01 and change, which means we've got to go. We got to do the news, but we'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. You know it, Levon. Great good morning, everyone. My Picardo's Jewelers watch tells me it is 10:08 a.m. here in the great Northeast this beautiful but rainy Friday, December 19th, year of our Lord 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our friend John Basiliga and just one of his great companies featured today, Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John, like Jerry Albrecht, East Mountain section of Scranton, Michael Capax, Scranton, Jack Belaski, Englewood, Florida, but he was from Scranton, John Morrison, Salisbury, Maryland, but he was from Bloomsburg. And then we have a slew of others, including Jay Krakowski, Ashley, Bob Sourwine, late of Oklahoma. He was from Wilkes-Barre. Richard Cordish, Factoryville. William Evans, Scranton. And Ralph Evans, Mifflinville. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after the brief news adjournment, this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you. So, good friend of the show, Barney Smith, he sent me a couple of books, and he also provides me with veterans obits over the weekends because I don't get the Wilkes-Barre newspapers over the weekend. And these two books, and I've seen her speak, Yeonmi Park, North Korean defector. And first, I want to thank Barney for the books. They are fabulous. And good to honor Yeonmi Park, who tells young audiences and any audience that will listen, you don't know what you're doing when you're asking for socialism. I lived it. I know where it heads. I've suffered it. I know where this story gets written. So thank you, Barney. Also, my friend Wally, okay, Eugene Wallace, he dropped me a note, and he disagrees with me, but he said I had sent him, there was a return stamp card, and I sent it back to him. And he said, that was pretty classy of you. He says, it must be your Slovak-American heritage. And he wishes me Merry Christmas. So same to you, Wally. And let us hope for Wally and others of his ilk next year that you actually listen to the program and you get that your Democrat Party has gone insane. That's all we ask you to do. Just listen. And by the way, somebody said there's a really bad hum on the broadcast. LTS says, Wendy, somebody else said there was interference on the microphone. It might be on the app. So we'll have the Bulldog let Bill France know that we've got a hum. Hey, speaking of the Bulldog, how about him? The Bulldog, in his Christmas greeting, this is Johnny Lucas, the Bulldog. Holy cow. He just takes it over and runs with it. By the way, somebody texted, Cat Matthews is from Peckville. I didn't say specifically where. I said he was a hometown guy, but thank you for that. Peckville, Cat Matthews. We love him. And a couple of you texted in. They say he shouldn't be called Scrappy Joe Biden. He should be called Crappy Joe Biden. And another says, you know what they say. You can't spell scrappy without crappy. Oh, Wendy says she's not listening on the app. So we have a little hum and a buzz. So we'll figure out how to get that fixed. We'll get it to the Bulldog. The Bulldog will get it to Bill France, and he'll take care of business for us. Hey, so we look at Christmas, and I want to, it bears repeating that not everybody's going to have the Norman Rockwell Christmas with a big family gathering. I mean, families pass away. We get older. Some people are alone on Christmas. Try to remember them, number one, but also, if you're one of those people, try to, just my 2 cents and a little bit of advice, just try to remember good Christmases that you did have or great Christmases that you did have. And try to think back on those and sort of bring yourself to those Christmases that were better, that were great as you approach the holidays. And it'll help. I really think it will. Hey, let's go to Andrew from Jersey. How are you, Andrew?
Pretty good, Bob. I would call him not Scranton Joe, but Deferment Joe.
Yeah.
And,
I told you I say the jokes around here, though, right? You know that.
But I'll do the Trump impression. No, not this time.
No,
but
please, no.
Speaking of Trump, I liked his speech, and I thought it was great, like a knockout of the fake news. And the Democrats are reminding me of Tyson in his prime, defending his title when he knocked out Burbeck or Larry Holmes. And the Hakeem Jeffrey said it was untethered from reality and unhinged. But I don't think Hakeem Jeffrey came up with that slogan, untethered from reality.
He's just a total straight-out ass. He
also
really
unhinged.
Is. God almighty.
He was energetic.
I mean, we have Congress people telling me he is just an outright phony liar. And these are Congress people saying it, and I'm like, wow. Then it's beyond true. A lot of guys, hey, they present themselves as complete asses, as Hakeem Jeffrey does, but they're actually fun or nice or whatever.
Right.
He is neither.
And also unhinged. What about Biden in front of the red background with the Marines?
I know.
And he's screaming like Mussolini.
You know this. Everything that they accuse you of, they are. Period.
And it wasn't fake or out of reality. It's true. The inflation was high, much higher under Biden. Now it's lower, down over 2%, a little over. And the gas prices are down. Most grocery prices are down. More, so those are facts. The wars in the Middle East.
The other part, and I played Scott Besant on one of the Sunday shows, and he pointed out that imported goods are up less than the rate of inflation, only 1.8%. So their whole narrative about Trump's tariffs, which, by the way, what's their alternative to unfair trade that has completely hollowed out our middle class over the last 50 years? What's their solution? They don't have one, number one.
And
number two, it's not harming us, period.
And you always point out that Biden left in the China tariff, so that's another hypocrisy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's all coming around with the tariff, so we'll see. And people make the comparison with Reagan when he got in, and in his first year or two before the tax cuts and the regulation cuts, but by like 1984, everything 83, started to kick in. So that's what some of the experts are saying. Like within a year, you'll start seeing more. When you open a manufacturing plant, a car, that's all great, but it's not going to happen in a month or 3. It'll take 6 months, a year, 8 months, 2 years. So
we're going to see how foolish the swing voters are. Are you foolish enough to believe that in 10 months, Trump was supposed to turn around the entire economy? And when they present jobs numbers, the jobs that have been lopped off, over 200,000 government jobs. So of jobs of no value, period, economically. So everything is going in the right direction. But, boy, if people can't give them time, I don't understand it.
Lastly, if they put up a sign of Bo, but then they mistakenly put up Hunter smoking crack by accident. But thanks. Have a good Christmas.
Right.
See you.
Andrew, Merry Christmas, buddy. Merry Christmas. You see, he's another guy we don't want telling jokes. We don't want Lorraine, we don't want the Bulldog, and we don't want Andrew telling jokes. That's a firm rule that we're going to hold to here. Bob Cordaro with you on this December 19th. It's a Friday. We'll take a break and be back. Dropkick Murphys. The season's upon us from 2012. And, of course, before that, 1972 this date. Apollo 17 splashing down in the Pacific Ocean, bringing the Apollo program of manned lunar landings to an end. Trump says we're going to go back and maybe establish a base on the moon. Interesting. Color me a skeptic on spending all that money to get to a base on the moon, but color me a skeptic to even going back to the moon. It's like been there, done that. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm willing to listen. By the way, Ginny C. checking in, wishing a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. She was also asking about Eugene Wallace. She said, I heard you mention Eugene Wallace. That's my Democrat friend who loves to disagree with me. She said, I went to school at Sacred Heart Slovak School, North Main Street in North End of Wilkes-Barre. I think that's him. By the way, I've got to go to the Slovak Club. Have to. Anyways, she said, if he's my former classmate, so nice you're alive and well. Keep me in your prayers, not doing too good. So Ginny still under the weather, not doing her best. So our prayers for you, Ginny. Our best wishes to you, too, okay? We love you. We love you. I go back. I've got to mention my guy Barney Smith again. These are these books by Yeon Mae Park, North Korean defector. I mean, they're truly important. They really are. And telling us, here's the truth. Here's the truth. This is what socialism brings you. We even have Bill Maher showing if you've ever seen it, it's so, and no pun intended, illuminating. They'll take satellite pictures of South Korea and then North Korea, and you could see the divide. There are no lights. There's no heat radiated. There's nothing happening in North Korea. And South Korea is beyond vibrant. Tony T texts in. He says, Bob, government jobs are a double negative. The taxpayer has to pay them and their benefit, so it increases inflation. See, all of the job growth from Joe Biden, from those 4 years of insane policies, all of the job growth, and there wasn't much, by the way. I repeat to you what I've been telling you. They actually had an $800,000 or 1,000 person downward revision on jobs over the term of the Biden administration. The Department of Labor had to report it, and they reported it. Hey, guess what? We reported 800,000 more jobs than were. And all of the jobs and what limited job growth there was during the Biden 4 years, again, the policies were insane. They were all government jobs or foreign-born workers. Yeah, not good. Not helpful. Not at all. Really not helpful. So, back to the Brown University in Providence City. You see what left-wingers get you. Complete and utter incompetence. If, in fact, a homeless person had not identified this guy, they'd still be looking. And we have this ludicrous president of Brown University. We have this horrendous mayor. Absolutely, just awful. This horrible attorney general. Well, what's the saying? Couldn't find their rear end with either hand? With two hands? Crazy. Oh, well. Hey, by the way, this was brought up to me, and it's something I truly lament. And I call it the loss of Tucker Carlson and the loss of Candace Owens. Okay? They're lost. And we don't know, my executive producer and I, Mr. Paul, were talking about this yesterday. We don't know if it's because they were bought off by some sort of foreign influence or if they just went crazy. We don't understand it. They've become anti-Israel. They've jumped and dove and are swimming in ridiculous conspiracy theories on all manner of issues. I don't understand it. And I'll tell you what, Tucker Carlson, to me, when he was on primetime on Fox, it was a must-see show. Like, I wanted to hear Tucker's take on events. I wanted to hear his news reporting when he would develop his own stories. And I really look forward to the show. And I was so disappointed when Fox took him off. But I think when we look back on it, Lachlan Murdoch must have seen the deterioration and this descent into, I don't know, craziness. And Candace Owens, I would love to see her and listen to her take on all manners, not just racial issues. And she's gone nuts. I don't understand it. I really don't. By the way, Andrew from Jersey said he liked Trump's primetime speech. I can't find anybody who does, Andrew, to be blunt. And I mean, everybody's sense is that they're not critical of what he said. They just said, hey, he tried to jam everything into 20 minutes instead of trying to prioritize. And it was almost like, according to at least a couple of observers who talked to me about it, it was like he tried to cram one of his events into 20 minutes. And you know they go for an hour 45, 2 hours. And that it was breathless and exhausting. But we'll see. I made a note to myself because, look, we've got to criticize even the people we support, and that includes Donald Trump. And I don't know, I just thought about the juxtaposition, and because Trump's signing executive order that is going to reduce the schedule upon which pot is listed, marijuana. And I said, Trump the huckster, he's blowing up drug trucks or drug boats and approving pot sales at the same time. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, I think he's got people who have a lot of thinking went into this thing, but I don't think pot's good for the country, though. We had our caller from Scranton say, yeah, I mean, these people are driving around stoned. They're working on construction projects stoned. I think it's used far too casually from even people I know. So I don't know if it's the right move. I really don't, but we'll find out. And by the way, what counterposes for me on the entire argument is that I lean libertarian. And I'm sort of like, well, you know what? If somebody wants to use it, let them use it. But at the same time, making something legal that is detrimental to society at large, which it is, like it or not, it is, that's a questionable decision. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll come back after our great sponsors and do a veterans tribute, and then the weather, and then we'll listen to you at 570-883-0098. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our friend John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. 3 bar restaurants that are second to none. All equally fantastic. The the Old Brook Inn, Springbrook Township on Route 307. The Far Street Tavern in the great Trips Park section of West Scranton. And the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. They're all just outstanding. Then we go to Wilkes-Barre. In downtown Wilkes-Barre, a gem has been discovered, polished, and presented to all of us. The Stegmeyer Mansion, the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. By the way, you can go to the Fred Stegmeyer Mansion and do an overnight amazing bed and breakfast. But the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion, the best in fine dining in an old world setting. And then you come up to Scranton, downtown Scranton, you got a Terra 519, one of the most beautiful restaurants you will ever see. The Terra 519, and right underneath the Terra 519, because it'll be booming tonight, you've got Sergei's, the nightclub. Fun galore. I got to go there last weekend. Just absolutely loved it. And I'm an old fogey, and I loved it. John Jack Belaski. He was 79, residing in Englewood, Florida, when he passed away December 10th. Born in Scranton, he graduated from Scranton High School in 1962. He was a Vietnam veteran serving in the Army's 25th Infantry Division. He started his career at Procter & Gamble, Mahoopany, PA in 1967 and continued his career with the Consumer Products Company for over 32 years until his retirement in 2000. He had the opportunity to work for P&G in multiple locations, including Cincinnati and Guangzhou, China. He's survived by 2 sons and a daughter, his 5 grandchildren, 3 brothers, and many other family members. Jack was an avid softball player and an accomplished golfer. He also enjoyed hunting and fishing with his children in Northeast PA. They called him Happy Jack because he had a sunny and optimistic personality and was always looking for a new adventure. Jack Belaski. John Morrison, he was 95, a baseball manager inducted into the Hall of Fame. Late of Salisbury, Maryland, he was from Bloomsburg. He died November 25th. Born in Bloomsburg, he lived a long and purposeful life defined by faith, hard work, and devotion to his family, church, and community. A proud graduate of Bloomsburg High School's class in 1950. He continued his education at Bloomsburg State Teachers College and later served his country honorably in the U.S. Coast Guard. He began his professional career with U.S. Radium, followed by a long and successful tenure in sales with Flick Brothers Electric and All Phase Electric. Known for his honesty, professionalism, and integrity, he earned the trust and respect of all who worked for him. He retired in June 2001. For more than 25 years, he managed the Bloomsburg American Legion baseball team, leading them to multiple league and state championships and earning induction into the Pennsylvania American Legion Baseball Hall of Fame. Off the field, he could always be found supporting his 4 sons in their various athletic pursuits. His life was grounded in love and faith. He's survived by his devoted wife of 69 years, Marilyn Morrison, his sister-in-law, his 4 sons and their families, including 12 grandchildren. John Morrison. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast. Well, Joe Snedeker tells us today cloudy with morning rain, changing over to the afternoon snowflakes, but nothing accumulating. Temperatures will drop throughout the day. Morning high 52. It's 48 right now. Then the temperatures drop into the 30s by late afternoon. Tonight, clouds with lingering flurries, 28. Saturday, partly sunny, 37. Sunday, partly sunny, 37 degrees. Well, you know what that means, but there's more to come. Well, you know what that means. It means the Pie Man cometh. Peter Delaporta, how are you, my man?
Robert!
We got another big game coming up.
Yeah.
Sid Helm,
Welcome
the weekend
to Football
warrior.
Friday.
He picked the Eagles. So
Right.
we'll find out what our man Pie Man has to say.
Well, last week I got it right on the money there for the offense, 31 points. It was
yes.
It was a decisive win. It really was great to see them, put it all together at the right time, right before the playoffs. So that just meant so much because I think it's a real, confidence booster. It's something to rally around. And I think they saw a lot of things that they were doing wrong. And let me get into that. So it was a commanding win over the Raiders. They just held them about to 75 yards, which was the fewest yards for any Eagles team that they played against, dating back 70 years. Total yards for the Eagles was 337. They had 75. Passing yards was 204 to their 29. They had 22 first downs to their 7. I mean, I could go through all the stats, but
they were playing,
game.
With all due respect, Pie Man, they were playing the Little Sisters of the Poor. I mean, come on. The Raiders aren't even a football team. I hate to say that.
Right. But, like I said,
I mean, they were 11 professional players
game
on the field at any one time for the Los Angeles or the Vegas Raiders, but man.
Yeah, they used it as a tune-up game, and I
hope
think
so.
it's
Yeah,
great. Yeah. I mean, their offense had no turnovers. They brought back the action, the action play action play, and they Jalen spread it around to 7 different receivers, not just AJ or Devontae, and that means he's seeing the whole field for a change, which is perfect, and he's finding the best opportunity that's out there to pass it to. So, like I said, they're headed in the right direction at the right time in the season. The defense really surged, only giving up 92 yards in the past 2 games. And Jalen Carter's coming back. Their number one defensive player. It's going to add more force and depth. Let's go through the Washington Commanders. They won 29-21 over the Giants last week. But, Bob, they've been riddled with injuries all season. Jalen Smith is out for the rest of the season. So Marcus Mariota's in their plan. He's a good quarterback. Dangerous. He's dangerous. Sees the field well. Good passer. And this is an NFC East division game, so it's never a sure thing. The Commanders are ranked 4th in rushing and 7th in passing, which is better than the Eagles. However, in defense, they're ranked 24th in running and 29th in passing defense. The Eagles should win handily, and the magic number for them to get into playoffs is 1 game. So they win on Saturday at 5 o'clock. By the way, the game is Saturday at 5, which makes the Eagles a short week because they played, Monday night. So let me go to my predictions, Bob.
Fire away, man.
Fire away. Here we go. Commanders are getting 7 points. Over-under is 47.5. So my prediction is the Eagles 28, Washington 21.
Okay. So you got
Okay,
sort of a
and-
close game.
Yes, I think so because it's a division game.
Okay.
Now let me get into just a sec for 20 seconds now about the playoffs. So if the playoffs were to happen today, for the AFC, the Broncos have the best. They get a bye. The Seahawks get a bye, who had a huge win last night at overtime. The Texans will play the Patriots. Bills play the Jaguars. Chargers play the Steelers. In the NFC, Seahawks get a bye. Packers are playing the Bears. And the 49ers are playing the Eagles. And then the Rams will play the Buccaneers.
Okay.
So we're right. The playoffs is one game away. So 2 games away, excuse me. So next week, the Eagles have a tough game against the Buffalo Bills, 4:25 game on Sunday. That's going to be, it's going to be a war out there. Could also change, who's playing in the playoffs. And I just wanted to give a shout out, Bob, for Villanova. Villanova's playing Illinois State for the semifinal for the Division One, the NCAA Division One football championship.
Division One AA, right?
Yeah, it used to be called
Good luck to
Division
Villanova.
One AA.
My man Chet Parlavecchio brought that up on Monday, that Villanova was doing so well. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Pie Man, you cometh, you speaketh, and now you goeth. 31-21 is that what? 28-21 is the call for Sunday's game.
Yeah.
All right, Pie Man, we love you. Thanks, man.
Okay, love you too, Bob. Have a great Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That's right. We may speak to you on Christmas Eve, right?
All right, I'm in.
All right, get in there.
All
Get in
right.
there. The water will be warm.
Brother.
We'll be here.
Love you.
All right, man. The Pie Man. Eagles are going to win. We'll be back. Robert Michael, Christmas lights on Church Street. And he means Church Street in Jessup because that's where he's from. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK as we approach the top of the hour. Let's go to our man Luciano from Luzerne County. Luciano, sorry I brought back your theme song. I love it too much.
I like it too, but I don't like to get no
You're
comment.
not getting. You would never get uppity. We're not worried about that.
Yeah, it's a catchy song, like they say. Yeah.
All right, man. What's on your mind today?
It makes the point with this mass illegal invasion. Bob, let me just say what I'm saying may be disturbing, but you can relate. I can never, ever forget myself living on the streets for over 5 years. Just like you can never forget yourself living where you were living. People have a lot of distorted and perversion opinions about the homeless. I'm saying this because that gentleman that found that terrorist from Portugal, that he was from Portugal.
Yep.
I heard that, I believe in Fox News, Fox regular news, local news. I don't have cable. That they were offering the government of the United States offering $50,000 for whoever found or led to the found. I get a little bit emotional about this topic.
He gets the money.
I get emotional.
But Luciano, I forgot about that. I hope he gets the money. Oh man, he deserves it.
When it comes to homeless people, I have a soft spot in my heart for homeless people, just like you have a soft spot for inmates.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
You've been through, and so I say this: I hope he gets the $50,000 that was offered on Fox News. I hope and pray, because people don't know. There's a lot. Unfortunately, I met an Air Force gentleman. He's still living in the woods, brother, and I lived on the streets. And people have to distort it, perverted that they're all drug addicts, they're all disgusting, pathetic, lazy bums. No, they're senior citizens that are living on the streets and parks and woods and all. There's veterans right now at this present moment that are honorably discharged vets that are living. And I thank God for Donald Trump, because he now made it, one last statement, he now made it possible. I've been following this. Over 1.5 million migrants, undocumented people, have been getting HUD housing, Section 8 housing, because the policy of unfortunately, since Clinton, was for one undocumented child born in the United States, born in a hospital in the United States, he can piggyback. That's the word they use. He can piggyback and use all the family members to get Section 8 and senior housing, and that's unfortunate. We have about 900,000 American citizens that are living homeless on the streets. And Bob, I ended say we need to get them all out, because we need American citizens. And I get emotional about, brother. I get emotional about this topic because people have a lot of distorted, pathetic information about migrants.
They are the homeless people are Americans, and they deserve to be cared for, to be given the opportunity. If they're on drugs, if they have mental problems, they deserve to be institutionalized, to be cured or brought to the best level they can. And those who are just down on their luck need to be lifted up. That's our job as a society.
And I thank God that we have people like you in WRK that fights for people like that lived on the street, because there's veterans. I'll repeat again, unplug your eyes. They're honorably discharged vet at this present moment that are living in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, that are homeless. American citizens, not migrants, American citizens. Thank you, brother.
Amen,
Good
man.
day.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Merry Christmas, too, before if we don't get a chance. Hey, somebody else on the same vein, they said, yes, Bob, I watched the President of Brown and was quite amazed at her seeming lack of an intelligent answer. Much of nothing there. The only person I felt was real was the police chief. LTS and Merry Christmas. LTS and Merry Christmas back at you. Another says, don't forget to mention that the Brown University homeless guy was a Brown University alumnus. I did not know that, living in the building that the shooting happened in. Well, that tells you enough about their security, doesn't it? Somebody else texted in, I support Donald Trump's speech. Well, wait, let's go to Bugzar. Bugzar texted in, he said, I also watched the so-called Providence elites tiptoe and constantly pat themselves on the back while a vagrant solved and made them look like heroes in their own eyes. It was painful to watch. Fools and imbeciles. Chief of police rattling off in Spanish was the icing on the cake. On the DEI cake, I apologize. Awful. Somebody else saying they supported the speech, and now Mr. Paul sends me, via Mr. Paul, Glenn Beck complimented the Trump speech. He said it was disciplined and good for that reason. Fascinating. Hey, by the way, and I forgot to bring this up, my friend the Viking, he said that they had the Christmas party at the Westmoreland Club, and he was talking about Sean McGrath, who has worked part-time for the Eagles for 28 years, and he brought up Brandon Graham, the great Eagles player, who showed up with 200 footballs, it did photos, and what is it? He also sent up Reggie the Eagle that flies around the stadium. Amazing. How neat is that? And then the Viking has a great picture with his beautiful bride and Brandon Graham. Neat. How about that? The Westmoreland Club is just great. It really is. Cutie went to an event there last weekend, their annual Christmas party, and she just, we rave about it all the time. It's a great stop. Hey, but we've got to take a break because my Bacardo Jewelers watch says 11:01 and change. That means we got to go. We got to go to the news. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. We got Mike Brest from the Washington Examiner to talk about the situation in Syria and the Middle East writ large. We'll be back. Great. Good morning, everyone. It is 11:07 and change here in the great Northeast. That's what my Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me. This beautiful Friday, December 19, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga hospitality group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we celebrate today, but lost this year. And we thank John for celebrating them. John J. Krakowski, Ashley, Bob Sourwine, late of Oklahoma, but he was from Wilkes-Barre. Richard Cordish, Factoryville. William Evans, Scranton. Ralph Evans, Mifflinville. Jerry Albrecht, East Mountain section of Scranton. Michael Capax, Scranton. John Jack Belaski, late of Florida, but he was from Scranton. And John Morrison, formerly of Bloomsburg, late of Salisbury, Maryland. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that because of our commitment to common sense, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world where the Democrat Party and the world elites and our establishment has gone insane. It's not you. It's them, I promise you. Somebody texts in, Bob LTS, the Pie Man is back in good graces with me because he won a lot of money last week with the Eagles, says Slick. All right. And somebody else says, Pie Man, it was the Raiders who suck. Please, says Navy Guy. Well, they are professional. Somebody else texted, Eagle fans are so delusional. It's apparent that the Pie Man doesn't realize the Eagles played the Sawyersville Sailors 12U team last week. ALTS back at you. Somebody asking, what's the local country singer's name you just played about going home to Church Street? That is Robert Myko, M-Y-C-K-O. It's a great song. I guarantee the guy's talented. Someone texts in, my wife and I volunteer at St. Francis Kitchen, and this area has a homeless problem. Some are veterans, and almost all need professional mental health care. If the Democrats want something to do besides criticizing Trump, find an answer to mental health issues, says Music Man. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. And they've got, you go to the homeless people and say, look, you've got 15 days. Find a residence. We will help you with whatever assistance, welfare, housing vouchers, whatever you need. But you got 15 days. And if you're here after 15 days, we're going to put you in an institution where you could get care for your drug addiction or your mental health issues or both. But we're not letting you live on the trail underneath a bridge in Scranton. We're just not going to let it happen anymore. You're human beings, and we're going to take care of you. Can't do this anymore. It's nuts. All right. So Mike Brest, he's the defense reporter at the Washington Examiner, and he's flagging a major national security story developing out of Syria. Now, we still have 1,000 troops there. It's something that we forget about quite often, and 3 Americans were killed last weekend in Syria by an ISIS fighter. And he is with us now. Mike Brest, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mike, but I was upset about these deaths of our servicemen in Syria. Tell us the state of play in that country.
Yeah, so as you said, last weekend there was a tragedy in which 2 U.S. service members and a civilian interpreter were ambushed in Syria, and they were killed by an ISIS fighter who was subsequently killed by the nearby U.S. Forces. And so these service members their bodies have since been brought back to the United States. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth oversaw the dignified return. And so at this exact moment, there are roughly 1,000 U.S. troops still in Syria, and they are committed to and are a part of the overall Defeat ISIS mission, is what it's nicknamed. And so their objective is to ensure the lasting defeat of ISIS, to make sure they can't regain their footing and reconstitute and sort of get back to where they were about 10 years ago. And so the Trump administration back in April announced that they were going to consolidate the number of U.S. bases in Syria, and that way, as a result, would reduce the footprint in the country. But as I said, at this point, we still have about 1,000 troops in Syria.
Trump has made, he met with and has made very good noises towards Syria's new government. How's the new government in Syria doing? Are they getting control of that country? Are they operating humanely? Where are we, a year or so after Assad?
Yeah, so we are, as you said, about a year after Assad, and there are definitely hurdles and difficulties that they are experiencing, all of which are not unexpected given what the country has gone through over the last year since the fall of Assad. And so the U.S. and President Trump have decided they want to try and help Syria figure out a more prosperous future. And so that's why, as you said, the president has talked highly of the new government, has welcomed the new Syrian president to the White House. And so the U.S. has gone as far as to lift some restrictions, both sanction-wise as well as some of the funds that the U.S. had effectively seized. That way they can try and sort of rebuild a better future for them. And so it hasn't been without hurdles and obstacles, but that wasn't necessarily a surprise.
Mike Brest is our guest. He's with the Washington Examiner. His reporting covers Syria, CENTCOM operations, and U.S. counterterror posture across the Middle East. All right, so what is CENTCOM investigating in terms of how this was allowed to happen?
So they were on effectively a patrol. And so what was interesting is this ambush occurred in Palmyra, Syria, which is an area that had been controlled by Assad when he was ruling. So the fact that they were in this part of Syria is notable because it's an area where they wouldn't have been a year ago or previously. Mm-hmm. And so they're trying to figure out who this individual was. There are reports that he had been local authorities had been aware that he had been erratic, and there were questions about his ties and whether he had ties to ISIS. And so it's unclear how this individual, who had been flagged by his Syrian counterparts or Syrian officials, and yet was still able to get that close to U.S. service members. And so we haven't heard many details from this investigation and probably won't until it's concluded. But this is the first time we've seen service members killed in Syria since the fall of Assad. So it was a seminal moment for the continued U.S. presence in the country.
Now, initial reports had said that Syrian defense forces had killed this person, but you told us today it was actually American troops that took him down.
They were operating in tandem, so it's hard to tell exactly which bullet effectively was the one that did it, but they were operating in partnership, as they do many times. And so the U.S. in their Defeat ISIS mission have troops in Syria and in Iraq, and what they try and do is both assist but also enable and train the local militaries that they trust to carry out these missions with a reduced U.S. presence.
Did we learn anything from our occupation of Iraq that we're putting in place in Syria? A much smaller presence, obviously, and actually a smaller role in the takeover by Ahmed al-Sharaa and his forces. But have we learned anything? We haven't totally dismantled the government of Assad and its military, have we?
Well, so a lot of Assad's most loyal fighters either were killed when the takeover happened, or had to put down their arms because they were outnumbered and their side, some of them surrendered. And so it's not clear how strong, I would say, Assad's previous backing had been. But there's still, as you said, ISIS has a presence there. The U.S. is there, along with several other countries, to try and ensure that ISIS can come back. And so there are military officials who believe the U.S. need to maintain the presence there to make that happen. And then there are critics who argue that the U.S. Can look towards Afghanistan, where the U.S. hasn't seen attacks emerge from Afghanistan and since the 4 years that they left. Even though the country hasn't truthfully gotten much better, we haven't seen terror threats necessarily affect the homeland yet. And so there are people who argue that the U.S. should reduce its presence in Iraq and Syria because there wouldn't be American service members for ISIS to fire at if the U.S. were to leave.
Yeah. I remember the dispute he had with the military establishment when he tried to pull out of Syria in his first term. But this al-Shara embrace by Donald Trump was a gutsy move because he was a former terrorist. But Trump embraced him and the new government, and I think we received some side benefits from our new Arab friends. I think it was a very positive move. Have you found it to be such?
I think it's still very early in the broad lens of this. And so the Trump administration is very hopeful and are, I would say, optimistic that with the right leadership and working in partnership with the U.S. and other allies, that Syria can have a better future, a better tomorrow. But it still is very early in this process of figuring out what should happen, considering Assad was in power for so many decades.
Yeah. And brutal control, father, then son. Amazing stuff. Well, Mike Bress, thank you very much. Mike Bress from the Washington Examiner. We appreciate this analysis, and feel free to update us whenever the opportunity arises. We really would. People don't realize that this is a big deal, our troops being in Syria.
I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and the audience, and I hope you have a great holiday and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll return. Lee DeWise. Hallelujah. American Idol 2010. Oh, what a great version there, too, huh? Bob Cordaro back with you. And many of you might remember the Bill Clinton. He was impeached by the Republican-controlled House. Perjury and obstruction of justice. Interestingly, it wasn't a blind vote like we would have today, and as Trump did twice when he was impeached. It was a thoughtful vote. Perjury and obstruction of justice, both of which he was guilty of. Did I feel that it was worthy of impeachment? Probably. Except if someone got on their high horse on how moral they were. You know, that they're upset because a guy cheated on his wife and lied about it. Well, as long as they didn't get on their high horse and they said, look, this is a constitutional issue. The president lied under oath. It's demonstrable. He tried to impede the investigation into his lies, and we have to do this. Those that took that light, because you knew he was never going to get convicted in the Senate, I didn't have a problem with. But the ones who, got on their high horses and, talking about morality and everything, I had no use for those Republicans, frankly. But interesting stuff. And the Trump impeachments, unfortunately, bore none of the thoughtfulness of Bill Clinton. Again, whether I thought it should happen or not, separate issue. By the way, Barry from Plains says, when you want to go to the Slovak Club, let me know. I can be his guest. We got to do that in January. We got to do that. I'm dying to go to the Slovak Club. Anyway, in that great north end of Wilkes-Barre. Absolutely great. Somebody says, so the reason why Brown University's dancing around with I don't know-isms is because they already lost a lawsuit from the governor over anti-Semitism. And if they have another anti-Semitic issue, they face another $500 million lawsuit. They've got to come out with the motivation behind it. Is it just a guy who failed and was jealous? Because it appears that he also killed that MIT professor. Remember they were talking about it early on, linkage between the Brown University massacre and the killing of the MIT professor. Well, that MIT professor happened to be a classmate of this stooge. And it seems as though he was a failed, either master's or doctoral student at Brown. And it is possible it was just, hey, I'm a loser and I'm going to take out the people that I'm going to try to blame for being successful while I failed. One of the most human reactions is to blame somebody else for their problems. Yeah, in any event. Somebody said, Bob, how do you get these newspaper speakers and other informative speakers on the show like Michael? Well, they know this audience, frankly. It's not because of me. They know this audience. They want this audience. And their publicists reach out to me and say, would you have so-and-so on to talk about such and such? And if I think it's germane or interesting, we do it. But I get more requests to put spokesmen and speakers on regarding various subjects than I can handle. And some of them I'm just not interested in. And I don't think you'd be either. So we just don't do it. But when the Washington Examiner people I've just found are outstanding. They're really in-depth reporters. And when they ask me to put somebody on, I put them on. I told you this before. I don't ask anybody to be on the show. That's a real rarity. They ask me. And I say if they're germane to this audience and what's happening, we do it. Somebody else texts in, why is the sports guy called the Pie Man? That's an old nickname for him back in when he was a child in Philadelphia. And it has nothing to do with pies. If you remind me when I have him on next week, I'll ask him so he could, because I forgot what it is. I know I've asked him, but we'll find out because it is. It's funny because that's his name, the Pie Man. All right. Well, I added the man. He was called Pie. I added man. All right. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll hear from our great sponsors, and then we're going to do our Veterans Tribute, the weather, and hopefully you, if you're interested, 570-883-0098. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our friend and friend of the vets, John Basiliga. He's a true patriot. Basiliga Hospitality Group. The places to be this weekend, like the Old Brook Inn. All great football to watch. 307 Springbrook Township. Far Street Tavern. Great sports bar. And for every other purpose as well. Great food. Same thing with Queen City Tavern in downtown Oliphant. Fabulous. Then we got a Terra 519. Cutie and I be there over the weekend, without doubt. We love it. greatest in fine dining. Gorgeous, gorgeous restaurant. My friend the Viking was there for the first time this week, and he's floored. And then, of course, the Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre, right near the Great Westmoreland Club, and every bit its equal. The Stegmeyer Mansion, amazing. Sergei's Live, the nightclub. I mean, it is just more fun than human beings should be allowed to have. And then the Scranton Art House, that's the place to watch a movie. It's better than being home. It really is. John J. Krakowski. He was 75 when we lost him November 25th. He was from Plains Township. Graduate of St. Leo's High School. He was a sergeant in the 1st Battalion, 109th Infantry Regiment of the Pennsylvania National Guard. He was employed by the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. Avid hunter and fisherman. Enjoyed the beauty of the outdoors. His mother, Rose, survives him, as does his sister and a brother, Jay Krakowski. Robert Bob Sourwine. He died December 2nd in Oklahoma City. Born in Wilkes-Barre, his services were in Oklahoma. Bob Sourwine. Richard Cordich of Factoryville. He died November 28th at the age of 80. His wife is the former Sandra Chury Cordish. Born in Peckville, he was the son of the late Augustus and Helen Costick Cordish, a U.S. Army veteran during the Vietnam War. Richard Cordish. William Evans of Scranton. He died December 6th. Born in Scranton, a graduate of the great Scranton Technical High School. He proudly served all of us in the United States Navy. Prior to retirement, he worked as a contractor, surviving his daughters, sons, grandchildren, a brother, and other family members. William Evans. Ralph Evans, Mifflinville. He was 95 when he passed away at home on November 27th, surrounded by loving family. He had resided in Mifflin Township for more than 55 years. Survivors include his beloved children, his 6 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, and other family members. Ralph Evans. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by John Basiliga and the great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Storm Tracker 16 forecast. Joe Snedeker tells us today, cloudy with morning rain, changing over to afternoon snowflakes as the temperature drops throughout the day. Morning high 52. Then temperatures drop into the 30s by late afternoon. Tonight, clouds with lingering flurries, low 28. Saturday, partly sunny, 37. Sunday, partly sunny, 37 again. You got to watch The Grinch. You got to watch The Grinch. You've got to watch Charlie Brown Christmas. You have to. Of course, you got to watch Christmas Story on Christmas Day. Oh, you got to watch Scrooged. And my favorite version of that Dickens classic is the Albert Finney version. And they sing and dance, but it's fantastic. I'll be watching all of those as we head into the weekend. I might even skip football to do so. Hey, Ed from Berwick, you've been patient, my friend. How are you?
Oh, you were responding to Ed from Berwick?
Yeah, it's you, Ed. I got you.
Okay. Okay, buon Natale, Roberto. And the LPS. And veteran, 30-some years. I'm still in the IRR, Individual Ready Reserve. If you want to mobilize me, I'm ready to go. Yes.
Nice.
You can take this option when you retire.
Uh-huh. That's
and
really
I would
neat.
I'd sooner die of a bullet through my brain in Ukraine than to die pissing my pants in a nursing home. Okay. And the price is right. I got a good rating now. Okay, let's get to that point. Okay, I know you're stuck for time. Clinton, the impeachment. Here's something that sticks in my mind forever. When they were taking the count of guilty, not guilty, our Republican friend, Arlen Specter, said, under Scottish law, not found guilty. So he's not guilty or innocent. I thought, what you, pal? Where are you? So Arlen Specter was a typical example of a false friend is more dangerous than a known enemy.
I got to tell you, though, you know what? It's talking specifically about him. I must tell you, I had a lot of dealings with Arlen Specter. He was one of the best people I've ever dealt with in politics. I really loved Arlen Specter. And he wasn't all warm and cuddly. But you wanted something done, Arlen Specter would do it.
Oh, I found out with Bob Casey with some lawsuit problems I had with my pension and whatnot, my Social Security pension. Mm-hmm. But when push came to shove, somehow it's him first, and that was a dirty deal that he did. I'll never forgive him for that. So, okay, you had a happy experience with him. I was disappointed with him.
Okay.
But like Paul Harvey used to say, for what it's worth.
Ed, coming from you, it's worth a lot, my friend. Thank you.
Okay, well, have a nice Christmas and a New Year and all the rest of it.
Well, I'll be here Christmas Eve, so I'm going to miss the couple of days next week, but I'll be here Christmas Eve. Thank you, friend.
Thank you for being here at all. Goodbye.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, somebody else texted in, and you know what? I hadn't even thought of this in a long time. And the listener says, Bob, I certainly don't come at it from a moral standpoint. However, Sharon Moore, and man, I feel sorry for him. The old Michigan coach, he was fired not because of the sex, but because he held a position of power over a subordinate while it was happening. As president, Clinton's in his 50s. She's 19. And if you as a dad had a 19-year-old daughter, proud that she was working in the White House, and a 50-year-old did this, well, I know the listener says, I would break his face if I get by the Secret Service. That part I agree. I got to tell you, as time flies by, and I met Bill Clinton and really liked him, you forget about that aspect of it. That was somebody's daughter, Monica Lewinsky, and he had his hitmen, his James Carvilles, who I think is a clown, go after her and try to destroy her. By the way, Hillary, too. They went out to destroy Monica Lewinsky, and it was all Bill Clinton's fault. So, yeah, okay, I'm with you. But what I would like to do to him personally should not be the standard for removal from office. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it wasn't wrong, and I'm happy you made that point, so thank you. I got a cough, so I had to take a break anyway. We're going to do that. We'll come back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Blue Monte. Dominic the Donkey from 1960, Murph tells us. And, of course, we're going to finish with Adam Sandler, the Hanukkah song. We're looking for, always love that. The Bulldog will start it whenever when it times out to noon. That's how he does it. That's how we do things here. We like to time things out. We look at our Picardo Jewelers watch, and we say, well, here's when we start it, and we run it. Somebody had called, somebody said Clinton had a zipper problem like his hero JFK. Yes, he did. And then another coincidence, Bill Clinton was also a frequent Epstein Island visitor in addition to the Lewinsky scandal. Apparently so. And by the way, on a more important note, somebody pointing out, and I messed it up because I was looking at where he was buried. John Krakowski, a veteran we're saluting today, was from Ashley. Yes. So thank you for that. Guys, we're headed into Christmas. Don't get all lathered up that you didn't get a present. And I urge you, I said, look, if you're looking for something to give and you can't come up with something, you give a monthly to Shriners, Tower to Tunnel, or Tunnels to Tower, I apologize, St. Jude's, and Wounded Warrior. And there's others that are great ones too. Just consider that. Give that in the name of the person you want to give a gift instead of giving them something stupid. You know? Think about that. My friend Paul Lockett says Dominic the Donkey's his favorite song and it never gets played. I was going to scratch it. His wife was a paisan. She gets a kick out of the song. It's beyond the realm of possibility with these people. It really isn't, you know? So, yeah, I've got some shopping to do. And, one of the things I'll suggest to you, and I did it last year, and it went over really great, the Basilica Hospitality Group, and you can go to any one of their places. I happen to buy them at Atera. But they have a universal gift certificate, which could be used at all of their locations. And people have loved them. And I think that's what I'm going to do for a few people. Because I want them to experience these great places. You know, whether it's the Far Street Tavern or the Queen City Tavern or the Old Brook Inn, Atera and 519 and Stegmeyer. I would like to, that's probably what I'm going to do. It's a good fallback and a good gift. Well, let's let Ann. Time to knock down a bridge, build a temporary one, and then open a new one than it did to put the pools in Naog. Touche. Very nice. Well, guys, you have a great afternoon. Sue Henry, her show's coming up next. Rob O'Donnell's show after that. But for now, God willing, I'll be with you Christmas Eve. For now, I'm going to miss Monday and Tuesday. We say sayonara, and we say Club for Common Sense adjourned. Have a great weekend, guys. Oh, my goshes. I almost forgot, especially today. How did I almost forget this? Because it's Doreen Gorieb's birthday Sunday. Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma Cornett Merrick, which we found in Doreen's obituary. She said, if I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow isn't promised to anyone, young or old alike. Today may be the last chance you get to hold that loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much, and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. Guys, have a great weekend.